Good evening, and thank you for coming this evening, and maybe we'll have microphone, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have it.
Anyway, just like at church, woke you up. Our opening selection was the Comedian's Gallop by Kavalevsky. Our next selection kind of pieces everything together you find in the daily news that's missing, and that's world and nations. And our next selection is written by Sibelius and comes from a larger work by the name of Finlandia. And this is entitled his interpretation of Hymn of All Nations. Our clarinet section will be featured in a written piece by George Frederick Handel. This is from the late 1600s, and this is a dance entitled Hooray. We follow a Disney with a Disney, and this is music from Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's kind of a student request. And the selections for this evening will be the Medallion Calls, the Black Pearl, and To the Pirates Cave. This is selections from Pirates. Our next selection is written by, or arranged by, a Wisconsin arranger, Claire Humsel, up in north, just north of here. And we try to feature some of the music in the area from our composers and contributors. And this is the Coronation March for saxophone choir. I'm just stepping out of the way so you can see. Some acknowledgments we'd like to make. This year, Chilton High School hosted the Olympian Conference Honors Band, where we combined the talents of conference schools into one organization for an afternoon concert after an all-day clinic with a guest director. Participating this year for Chilton on trumpet, William Elliott, Barry Sachs, Emily Ott, tenor sax, Katie Schwob, alto sax, Matt Boole, and grand keys, clarinet, Taylor Beasy, and on flute, Alyssa Peck, honored band student. Also this year, we hosted 2 music festivals, and so I don't forget, I want to thank every parent who's in the audience and anybody who may not be for your assistance that day. We ran 14 contest centers, and Mr. Rotman ran a food service, and we had just positive comments all the way around on how well it was run, smooth, and it couldn't have been done without all the parents in the room. So if you would give those helpers a big round of applause. From that festival and another festival we ran here in April, if all the students who participated in either Chilton Festival and played a solo or an ensemble, of which you heard 3 tonight, if you would stand, please. Any solo and ensemble students? In this group, we had 4 trumpet players proceed to state, and those students would be Nathan Stens, Caleb Justinger, Jared Taylor, and William Elliott on trumpet. And out of that group, the 4 boys that are standing played the trumpet quartet and received a perfect score at state. This ensemble features, obviously, trombone and baritone players that brought them to the front so parents could see them, not being buried too far back. This is actually the second one we worked on. They like this the best. And you may recognize it as one of the old theme songs from the NFL series, and actually it was quite popular on recordings. And this is the Sailor's Work Song.
I would like to thank you all for coming tonight. This is the seniors' last concert, and we do have 2 more parades, but this is the last time we'll be performing on stage. And we would all like to make our gratitude known to Doc, because he has been with us for 6 years for most of us, and we are very thankful. So from the class of 2014, we have a card in the gift. And in the gift is a picture of all of our lovely faces with him from the last concert. A $50 gift card to what we heard was his favorite restaurant, The Good Company in Appleton. A $50 gift card to Hickory Hills Golf Course and a set of new golf balls.
Thank you very much. And I would like to call our senior roll for this year. And these students have really done a lot. And this is what I call a very quiet group of leaders. Not once have I used the word leader in class because I didn't need to, because they all led by example. There isn't really a way to describe them other than they did exactly what they needed to do and show others the way. And if that's their call, and that's what they're going to take out of this building, I think we're in great shape with this group of kids. In percussion, we had Tyler Ruddick, baritone horn, Becca Schwartz, on French horn, Tricia Gruber and Heather Mullard, trumpets, Michaela Brickle, William Elliott, Blythe Hefner, and Jared Taylor, tenor sax, Mackenzie Lowell and Caitlin Schwab, alto sax, Matt Boole, clarinets, Megan Winkler, Erica Pedon, Jolene Hostetler, and Taylor Beasy. And on flute, Julie Willems, Ashley Schneider, Ashley Schneeborn, and Alyssa Pike. I hope I didn't miss them. All right. And we saved a little one to get you dancing on the door, and this is the best of the doors. We have one short one yet for you, and this has kind of a cameo appearance of a guy you loved for a while, and then you wanted to hate for a while, and now you might like a while, and that's at old number 4 from Green Bay. And he was here, and he was there, and he's there. We don't know where he is now. But this is from the movie There's Something About Mary, and this is a little short version of Build Me Up, Buttercup.